IT support for a pub company in England, by user Declaran. I work for a large pub company based in the UK and my chief role is second-line support for retail applications. We've had some beauties over the years but many obviously get lost in the ether. This one though I don't think I will ever forget. New GM calls up service desk and asks for her site website to be updated as the facility's description is incorrect. Service desk send the call over to digital who look after the website content. Site is unhappy that they are listed as being dog friendly, with live football, beer garden and pool. Digital send the call over to property to check the amenities report for the site. All looks good. Call goes back from property to digital to inform them there is no issue. Digital close the call to state no fault found. Site reopens the call stating it's still incorrect, and they do not have pool. Service desk send it back over to digital to request that pool is removed from the amenities description. Digital advise that the amenities are pulled directly from the inventory held by property. Call goes back to property to advise that the inventory is incorrect. Property, proactively trying to assist, passes the call to the maintenance department to report that a pool table has been removed from a site or is not working correctly, but is still being paid for. Pubs essentially rent the pool tables, very rarely are they actually owned. Maintenance contact the pool table company and send out an engineer. Engineer arrives on site, no issue, closes the call which updates the service ticket on maintenance's end. Maintenance then send the call back over to property to log that there is a pool table on site and it's fully functional. Property then send the call back to digital to confirm the amenities inventory is correct, and the pool table is available to use and functional. Digital close the call to state no fault found. Site reopens the call now really frustrated. This is the third time I am reporting this, please remove pool from the description on the website. Digital send the call over to myself, assumedly for two reasons, one because they had probably had enough, and two to ask if they can think of any reason why a site would not want the pool table to be advertised on the website. As retail support sometimes we get very unusual bookings queries where people try to book out individual televisions, areas of the car park, pool tables etc. as table bookings. Believe it or not this does happen, so I had a look read through the entire ticket history. Log. I call the site. Me, hi, name changed to GM, I can see you have been having some issue with your website and the guys can't seem to find the issue. I know it seems silly but can you give me some more information please? GM, oh god thanks for calling me, it's been driving me absolutely mad. Me, sure no problem, so what's the nature of the issue? GM, I don't want it advertised on the website, we haven't got it so I want it removed because I don't want people asking about it. Me, I see, well I understand we checked and sent an engineer out and everything's working fine. GM, you can't have done because we don't have one. Me, we definitely did, I can see the engineer's report on my screen, all checked and working correctly. GM, no, you have not sent an engineer, we have not got one. Me, well what happened to the table then? GM, the table. Me, yes the pool table. GM, oh shit, a pool table. Me, yes. GM I thought it meant a pool, you know like a swimming pool, okay never mind thanks for your help bye. Phone goes dead. It turns out the GM was new to the country, and was originally from South America, had been running bars and restaurants in hotels in Spain for 10 years where having a pool was quite common, and never thought to question that pool would represent a pool table and not an actual swimming pool in a beer garden in England. Change my password or else, by user Jamato42. I work in company that's providing remote IT support, we're fully outsourcing, as we're based in Europe. I got a call from a young lady working in the office asking to get her password reset. As we have to generate them being in format like a 6-JUK52 I advised her that she can change her own password on her laptop. She refused saying she doesn't know how, and when I told her I can show her if I can just connect to her device she refused. So I obliged and provided her with the new password, to which she angrily replied, I won't be using that password for next 3 months, pass my ticket to the IT in the office. To which I refused as I can't do that just because she wants it. After a long conversation that was like, do it, I won't be using this password, this is stupid etc. She said she won't even try signing in with this password and will call us in half an hour saying this password did not work, and to get the ticket passed to the IT located in the office. Well, the calls are recorded as you might think, I passed it to one of my managers with the conversation ID etc., to which he replied, she doesn't want to sign in with new password for 3 months? Guess who won't be working here in 3 weeks? Yesterday I saw a request to get her account removed from the system. Mail rules, what you see is not always what you get, by user talesfromtechsupport. I make no apologies for this long-winded, potentially hard to follow story. I'm IT, not an English major. I like most have used some form of mail rules for a very long time. I myself had never had much trouble getting them to do what I need. A dev at work a few months ago submits a ticket, his rules are no longer working. He writes a nice detailed description of what he set up and the end result. This being, the target messages are not being moved. He's specifying if an email is from a certain place, and has certain words in the subject line, then move to a certain folder. Easy yet? Well, no. Try as we might, we could not get messages to move based on his conditions. I tried to find a mail rule debugging tool, and that doesn't seem to exist. The advanced logging in Outlook doesn't appear to cover mail rules, and my Google was failing me. So I put it down, to revisit later. I revisited every few weeks to see if something new had popped up on the interwebs, or to see if some random Outlook update had resolved the issue, still after 9 months, coming up empty. So today, I sat down and said let's do this. I created many different versions of the rule to see what worked and what didn't work, always focused on the aspect of the subject line condition, cause the from condition is specified by picking a contact from the address book, not much there to troubleshoot. I did try leaving out the from condition, and the rule would work, so I thought it's a bug about using subject line condition and from condition. But kept hitting a wall. I did notice that the name displayed in the from condition line was the display name of the mailbox, and not what was actually shown in the from field, but there's no way to type an address in that field, you have to pick something from the address book. So I moved on. If I couldn't fix the rule, maybe I could give him an alternative. So I made a search folder that would do the same things, although search folders also did work if you picked this contact from the address book, because again, the name in the address book didn't match what was in the from column of the new mail view. Unlike mail rules, I didn't have to pick from the address book setting up search folders, I could just type the address in. What I manually typed the address in, the search folder worked. Using that info, I created a new personal contact for the mail account giving me trouble and made the name the same as the email. Set up the rule again using this contact, and since the display name was the email address the rule worked just fine. Looking at the message headers now, I saw there was no display name specified in the from tag of the email, so while we do have an account for the box in our address book, mail rules don't compare the from address to the address book before firing. However, when setting up mail rules, they set up using the display name, not the email address. This is extra dumb, because I can right-click a message and say create rule and the options I have show the full email address in the list of options, but upon saving the rule, Outlook looks for the address in the address book and substitutes the email address with the display name, sending us back to square one, rules not working. So now I have to go ask a dev to alter how they send emails from their program, cause Microsoft. So that's my story of mail rules, what you see is not always what you get. Thank goodness we got this done, by user the Trul Yepik. I work for a smallish MSP. One of our clients was signed on earlier this year, and we're still picking up the pieces from their last company. It isn't terrible, but they have no standardization for their machines, and no documentation. One user, we'll call Kathy, had an issue with a laptop locking up every so often. She tells me it's only once or twice a day, but when it does, it locks up completely for a solid 15 minutes. As users do, she says this is urgent and needs to be resolved. One of my colleagues tells me about a similar ticket he had, where he solved it by swapping out the docking station it's hooked up to. So I head out with a brand new one and get ready to install it. 15-minute drive later, I plug it in, and find that this particular dock doesn't work with her Dell laptop. I didn't have a spare with me, so I had to run back to our office and find the one Dell dock that we had. Run it all the way back there and hook it up. It seems like it's working, but our policy for things like this is to leave the ticket open and follow up later, just to be sure. Next day, no dice. It froze again. There really doesn't seem to be anything wrong with it, but it has a lot of leftover software from Dell and this other ITCO, so I figure a reset doesn't hurt. I grab the laptop, bring it back to our office, and start the process. I'm working on a way to automate Windows installs for our company, but right now, we don't have that. So I have to manually go in and install every app Kathy needs and copy her files over. It's tedious but not a lot. That, along with setting up a VPN so I can join their domain, took me about 5 hours. Windows Update is the worst. Finally I get it ready and bring it back on site to get this going. She said she needed it by 11 AM today. I got there at 10:30. I get everything plugged back in and just need her to sign into her Google Chrome and Office to get those syncing again. That's when I remember that they don't pay for Microsoft 365 through us. They have their own licenses they buy themselves. If anyone here doesn't know how MSPs do this, we have a partner that we buy MS365 licenses from. We get it at a discount rate because we buy thousands from them. They sync with each of our Microsoft tenants so we can buy and assign the license to a user in a matter of minutes. Instead, this company buys their own. And they buy the 2019 version of Office instead of the 365 subscription, so it's one lump sum. That means they have to activate with product keys. So I'm sitting here with her over my shoulder while we're trying to get her Outlook working. I have about 4 or 5 product keys I'm trying, none of which are working. I want to leave for lunch, and I notice that Office will still be usable for another month. Kathy tells me that the owner is the guy that manages their Office licenses, who, by the way, is on vacation, so I ask if it's okay if we postpone this. She says it's fine. Phew. Another problem for future me. I give her the usual let me know if it does it again, before I turn to leave. That's when Kathy tells me, oh, today's actually my last day at the company, so it'll probably be the new guy that calls you. So glad we got that fixed for her. Log printer, 3rd level issue resolution, by user oddbear4152. In the mid-1980s, I went into a call center one day to introduce myself, as I was doing 2nd level support for a month. I was new to the role, with not much experience, but I'd been an electronic technician previously. After my entry time was recorded in, and the reason for my visit was logged, they mentioned that the log printer, which prints every incoming ticket, for legal reasons, was their main issue. The normal senior support officer had looked at it, 20+ years of experience, couldn't figure out why it was not printing every ticket, and logged a job with 3rd level IT, national, support. They too couldn't figure out why it wasn't working. Everything looked fine at their end. This issue had been going on for over 3 months. It would work, then not, then work again. I said I'd have a quick look, but no promises. After a quick visual inspection, I screwed the cable into the rear securely, as it was at an angle. Fault fixed. As it was an old dot matrix printer, the vibration would cause the connection to work or fail, as the printer was hard against the wall. Turning it off and on could make the electrical connection again.